Okay, hey y'all, I'm getting ready to start in a second. I'm trying to make sure everything is a good view. And I'm going to give a few people some time to get on. Hey y'all, I'm going live. Just give me like a couple of seconds. Oh, hey, hey. Whoop, whoop. I'm posting on Instagram to be fair to some of the people that was like, please let me know. Y'all, if y'all live in Atlanta, know anything about Atlanta, let me tell you something. I've been to this shop twice, had to go home, pick my son up, go back, take him to practice. This driving in Atlanta is something serious. Um, but yeah, I'm here, and I don't want to rush it, so I made sure that my iPad was charged. I am good to go because I want to be able to answer all of your questions. As soon as I get done with the live, hey, I will put what I promised on Instagram on my web page for you all to have it. If you have my wig essentials list, it is number one. This where I get this from on my wig essential list. It is number one. So I was able to do that. So first, let me kind of give like an introduction of when I first started with this whole lace tint stuff. I used to make it with the Rit dye. I have the Truth About Lace Tint, and excuse me if you can't see my. Nobody wants to talk to someone when you can't see their face, so we just gonna do this right here. So when I first started with the actual whole dye stuff, I like the whole Rit dye, all of that, but I do not like that you have to spray it on your head, on the tint, all of that type of stuff. So I created Melanin Shades a while ago. Some of you all remember it. And the whole purpose with this right here, the Melanin Shade, was for me to sell it. Yes, I sold it. I made my goal of how much I wanted to sell it for. But before I did this, you all, I purchased so many products, experimented so much, testing all of this. It's permanent lace dye. And for me, I like quality in the level of, not saying Rit dye, Adore, all that lace tint is not quality, because it is. I have used it. I like it. I boil it though, however, to make it permanent. But with this, I think about my clients that know nothing about hair, that's not going to want to have the tint do anything. So when they shampoo it, it does not come off. And this is a chemical, so be careful with it. So we're gonna jump right into this and let's get going. I'm gonna do a lot of explaining. Feel free to ask questions. Oh, let me put a disclaimer out there. If you think you have this vendor already, please don't purchase it for $9.99. You all, when I give a lot of stuff out. So you may get it like, oh, I already knew about this. I already had it. So if you think you have it, do not purchase it. However, simply for those of you all on my YouTube, I am going to block an hour off for you to purchase where I get the vendor from. And that's just a way of me. It's business for me. This is what I do. This is how I created my business. I know some people may, oh, well, can I have a refund? I already had it. If you think you have it, don't purchase it. You know, I put a lot of money, time, and resources into just being able to do this for the sake of all of us. And I try to keep things at an affordable rate to help us all. So let's get into it. And I also share where I got this from on my Instagram. I tag his page. I purchased this from someone locally, and it fits my little tops really good. Those jar glasses that I had, I linked that too. I got it from Amazon. But you can also store in something like this. So let's get into it. So this is very simple, you all. I'm gonna boil this water while I'm actually talking. So one thing you want to do, I am going to target this from, have you experienced coming on skin change from previous shades season to season? Yes, yes, yes. I am going to talk about that. I'm so glad that you said that. I am one of those individuals. Sometimes I'm like, you really probably can't see it. You know what? Let me put the ring light on to see if it makes a difference. Hold on. Uh, okay. So we have the ring light on. So I am one of those individuals. My kids run track, so I am so many different shades at a given time. In the summertime, I am literally like 5 shades darker. And that's why I like this product too. So what I would do is, I would tint, I'm a medium brown. I would tint myself for a medium brown. However, in the summertime, after about 5 track meets, I use the Adore, I mean not the Adore, like the Rick dot, the liquid dot, because over time it's just going to rinse off and it's going to come right back to my base complexion. So let's just say if we tinted it for this complexion, right? If this was my complexion, which this is for someone that's like super light Caucasian or something like that, and I sell these on my website, you all. But back to it. So I will permanently tint it this color. However, I will use like a lace tint spray or something like that for the times when I'm darker, because after you shampoo it off, it'll come back this color. So if you was darker, you would do the same thing. So I hope that helps with that, but we're going to get right into it. I am going to approach this video. Let me turn this off. I am going to approach this video from people that just make wigs for themselves. And also if you make wigs as a business, so like you have your own hairline, you have your own lace, you're using your lace consistently. And for those of you all who have clients that send in lace and do all of that, if they're sending in lace, honestly, I create a chart and leave it to them to say, give me light, medium, dark. But if you have your lace, okay, this is not my personal brand. I purchased this stuff from my supplier. As you all know, I'm always trying to find good products for you all to add to my list. So what I would do, let's just say I always order from this vendor, right? I'm going to start by taking some lace. And I'm going to do this for this one. And this isn't transparent. I prefer transparent. However, it is what it is. So this is my vendor. I would label it as, hold on, I have everything in here reach. Bear with me, bear with me. So I would label this as, let's just say, vendor A. That's what this would be, vendor A. And I would create a chart. So I would have it, I cut this, and this would just be stapled to this sheet, not tinted, right? And then as I create my formulas, I would have not tinted, light, medium, dark, or whatever, however you want to do it, but you all get the drill. And that's because I know every time I get this vendor, I'm dealing with the same lace. So if you're inside of, if you're coming to me, all I have to do is take it out, match it up to your skin tone, and know which one I'm going to do. It's going to always be consistent. So that's with a darker lace. And now I'm going to show you all with this lace right here. This lace comes from Subi in Miami. It's like a warehouse, a Chinese warehouse where they sell hair at a very affordable rate. They're not the best quality. They are not on my list, but they are very good, decent quality for some just regular good virgin hair compared to other companies. I avoid the shipping and all of that. I would not brand their hair, however, but you can see there's nothing wrong with it. It's been thrown around. So this is more of a transparent lace. So I would do the same thing. Cut it. And we're going to use these as our samples. So I will have untinted, which pretty much will match someone like this complexion, as you can see. And then you'll want to do the same thing. So we all get that. We're not going to get too elementary with this. So what I do to mix it, when you purchase it, it's going to come with number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. So number 1 is like a black. It has purple blue undertones. The yellow cancels out. That's what it does. So there was one time where I had to use the black dye to mix in with my formula. And that's because I'm going for like a dark, like the person was really, like a dark skin tone. You do want to use gloves with this. I do. It will stain, so be careful. Right about now, you want to use a mask. The yellow dye, it has a warning sign on it. Please take it serious. So what I do is I use, it's very simple. This one is already mixed. If you don't know, if you're using your Rit dye formula, any fabric dye, the salt in this allows the color to draw out of the water and bind to the lace. So this is an important step with getting consistent tinting, adding the salt. And what I'm gonna do is I use 1/4 teaspoon. So I would have it in a jar, and when I was selling it, this is exactly how I was mixing it. I'm taking some of number 2. Number 2 is a dark brown, and when you all look at it, I appreciate it. So when you all are looking at it, Google and research like melanin tones, undertones. Some people have an olive tone, a red tone, all of that. And then you'll understand the coloring more. So this is dark. To be honest with you all, I can take just number 2 and make light, medium, dark, and you don't need any of this. So if you're trying to decide what should I purchase, where should I start with, I would advise you to start with number 2. And let me make sure I'm giving y'all, yep, it's number 2. That's what I would advise you to start with. So you put it in, and that is 1/4 of a teaspoon. That's all I'm using. I was using 1/4 of a teaspoon. And tell me, have you all seen like this powder dye around? I know some people have seen the powder dye, permanent dye. We aren't sitting here creating the dye. It's purchased from the supplier. And I will use, you want to level it off. Whatever you do with your measurements, there's no right or wrong. Just be consistent with what you do. 1, and I like to use 2 scoops of this. Now, after using a 1/4 teaspoon, I would go to my 1/2 teaspoon. Fill it with some regular table salt. Pour it in. And literally mix it up. That's it. So I got the clear jar so that you all can see it. And I'm going to shake it. And this could be your light medium, your medium, whatever you want to call your lace dye. So let's just say if I wanted to do a darker tone, right? I would write this formula down, and I'm not going to write it down for us because we all can catch this. I would write this formula down. So let's say this is my base. This is my light. That's what this is. So for my dark, what I would do is take a 1/4 teaspoon. So now, let's keep track of what we're doing. I've already put in a 1/4 teaspoon of each one with the exception of number 1, the black. So now what I would do is take a 1/4 teaspoon, and this is how I made my mix, you all, and add it in. So what I've done is just make this darker. So now this is my medium. If you just wanted to sell a dark, what I would do is now add another 1/4 teaspoon of this. And that's my dark. So the reason why I just said if you make one formula, right? Let's just say before I created my medium and my dark. With just that one formula, all you have to do usually is just use more product. But it's easier to sell a product or to pre-make it if you can tell someone, so this is our dark, right? Just take 1 scoop and add it in a cup of water. That's your dark. If you wanted to make this even darker, so now you have a chocolate skin tone or whatever you want to call it, I advise you to use, this is where my, I would measure the ounce. So I had a scale, what I would do, and I would measure it by weight. So you need to keep track, and for sake of this video, I'm not measuring and all of that. But this is all I'm adding in here. So now I would add this in. And this would be my dark. And that's how you would sell it and mix it. So once you have your product, all you're doing is, for each, so let me back up so I don't confuse you all. When I'm only using 1 scoop, a 1/4 teaspoon, I only add a 1/2 teaspoon. But anytime I'm doing more than 4 scoops, I go and add another 1/2 teaspoon. So ignore that. Are you adding more of number? I'm adding more of number 2. I'm adding more of number 2. And no, don't worry. In the description, I'm going to write it out in the description. And remember, to be honest with you, listen. Once you have your mix, it does not matter how much salt you put in it. So figure out your measurements. This is just a guide. Use this video as a guide of how I can start critical thinking to use my powder to make the shades that you want. So let's just say I have this and I'm selling it and I want to fill my product up. The more salt you add, it's not going to hurt anything. And I'm just being honest. Okay, I'm glad it makes sense. It's not going to hurt anything. If anything, it's going to stretch it more. And you just see the difference in the color. Remember, the salt helps the color bind to the lace. It's like the chemistry behind it. So if I had a smaller container, I can easily fill it up and sell a full product. So now that we have that done, I'm going to have to start doing better when I just decide to randomly on a day go live so that you all can make sure that you're getting, you can see and all of that good stuff. Give me 1 second. Okay. Hey! So your water needs to be hot. It needs to boil. I'm just using a water kettle or whatever you want to call it. That's what I'm using. So now what I do is I'm gonna take a quarter teaspoon and put it in here. And you want to take a cup of water. It doesn't matter how much water you use. The purpose of this video is to just let you know that you need to be consistent with everything that you do. So I'm going to write this down. So for my lights, a quarter number 1, a quarter number 2, a quarter number 3, a quarter number 5, quarter number 4. So I'm just letting the water boil. So I'll take a picture of this and post it on my YouTube. You're welcome. So what this is saying is I use a quarter of number 4, a quarter of number 2, and I know you all can't. Okay. So what this is saying is I'm using a quarter number 4, a quarter number 2, a quarter number 3, and a quarter of number 5. The 5 is the yellow. That's for my light. So now for my medium, I use all of this the same. Yes, I'm using the same measurements for my formula. So if you purchased it from me and stuff, I'm using the same. So for my medium, I use all of this, right? But the salt may vary. However, I'm going to add another quarter of number 2. So now for your dark, you're going to use all of this and you're going to add 2 more quarters of number 2. But you listen, y'all, my formula is not the only right way. It is not. You may say, you know what, I'll just do all of this and then just add one that will need the black added to the powder dye. I've done it before, and when I tell you all, it is a flawless match. You know, with my integrity, I can't call out certain people pages, but I love my product that I just hung. This is where you gotta get it, where I get it from. That has already paid me to show them this formula, because when you have that permanent lace dye, it's a game changer. It is not necessarily the best, like I say, set yourself up so that you can save time. I wouldn't be sitting here doing this and I got a client coming in. Hence why I was telling you all to pre-create what it is that you need. You can save this in a jar. However, you have to heat it up. As quick as it takes you to heat up some water to dip the hair, it takes no time. That's the same thing with this lace. So it's many of ways that you can go about doing this. So once you have it, and for the sake of what I'm doing, I'm going to just go ahead and add 2 teaspoons in. Well, that was another 1/4 of a teaspoon that I just added. Once your water starts boiling, you want to put a cup in. We're going to act like this is a cup. Again, you all know with wig making, I teach don't be a perfectionist, but if you're writing down everything that you're doing, if you're writing it down, you are going to get consistent measurements. So, and then you just pour it in. And remember how much we just put in here. So this is going to be dark, you all. It's going to be dark. I need this permanent dye. I launched my temporary one already. How long do you leave it in the water? So it varies. The longer you leave it in, the darker it becomes. So that's going to be up to you. So let's go. Let's talk for a minute. But hold on. Let's talk while we got us some lace in here so we can see the difference. And I'll pull one out quicker than I pull the other one out. So let's talk for a minute. When you're saying how long do you keep it in, right? That's why I was saying, instead of me creating one shade and saying, oh, you can use it, use 2 scoops for medium, use 3 scoops for dark. You can do whatever you want to do. It all makes sense. But for me, I used to write down everything that I do. So if I made this exact formula and I sit here and timed it, I can say, okay, I'm going to take it out now. Y'all see how dark this is. Let's see how dark this is. Hold up. I got my timer right here. And I'm going to show you a before and after so you can see. So, and these white gloves help. So this is pretty dark. As a matter of fact, that's a little dark. Well, for my forehead, it'll probably be okay with me. Can I pre-mix this and store it in the glass jar? Yes, absolutely. That's smart. That's what I do. Because it saves time. And I used to even take the formula on it so I know which one. Or you have it written down somewhere. So to get back to that question about how long do you sit it in, right? So if I say, okay, sit it in for 30 seconds to get this complexion, I know the formula. Hence, it's going to yield the same results. Remember, everything you do, you want to be consistent to yield the same results. And you are really going to be able to see the difference on this whenever I take it off. So this is already a darker color lace than what we started with, which was a transparent. So I'm going to put this in here so you can see why I say do it for every company lace that you have. Do it for the medium, do it for the transparent, do it for the dark, because it's going to look different. You all, that whole getting a white cotton, it's okay. This is my dirty towel. But do you see why I'm not going to take anything? I'm not going to say that. It does work when you know what you're doing, because as a stylist, you can say, oh, this is dark, I put it up. But because you don't work with so many clients, you know, oh, it looks darker than their skin. However, it's going to match when I put it on that lace, because whatever you put on white is not going to be the exact color that you all put on lace. Yes, you use transparent. Oh, my transparent lace is the truth in this right here. It's what I do. It's what I started with in life. Like, it is flawless. This, you all, is like the secret to that transparent lace being flawless. But do you see how it looks like 2 different colors? But do you see how if you're a stylist or you constantly is working with this formula, how I can know it looks like this on white, but it's going to give my lace like this so I can match it up and use the white? But I'm pointing this out because I see a lot of Instagram posts and things like that using white cotton and all of that. And some people don't look past the information that's just given to them, if that makes sense. So critical think through that. Cotton, white is going to, the color is going to stain differently than what it would on the lace. And at the end of this, I'm not going to be on too much longer. We're going to, I'll show you what it looks like on the transparent lace. So as you can see, this is a darker color. It started with a darker lace and it's way darker. So that's why, let me get this right here. So you can, hold up. I'm gonna put it in this bowl. And I'm using white so you can see. So same dye formula and how you got it. So this was this lace. This lace is the same as this. This lace was already darker. This lace started like this right here. So you can see the difference right now in the shade. So as long as you keeping track of what it is that you're doing and writing it down, you will be good. And we have another lace in here. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, boom. There we go. And if you rinse this off in water, it'll still be stained. So, the same lace, let me move it out the way. Here we have the same lace, and you can see it's two different shades simply because of how long we kept one in than the other. So now what I'm gonna do, since you all asked about the transparent lace, I'm gonna pull out some transparent lace really fast so that you can see. So this is transparent lace. And I'm gonna cut a small piece off, but I still have to use this to make a wig. So for me, I can't find my guide that I used to have, but this is my vendor lace, as you all know, is number 21 on my hair finish list. So with their transparent lace, I created a chart because I only use this vendor's lace, this transparent lace. So when you put it in, and the reason why I'm boiling more water is because I'm going to show you all a different look. So this is one that I've already, this will be my medium. I'm going to put in one, the water is boiling, put in a cup, and it doesn't matter what you put in, just know the more water you get, the lighter it becomes. So just remember, the more water, the lighter. This one has more of a red undertone. Do you all have any questions while I'm just holding this in here to dye? Do you all have any questions? Just feel free to let me know. And I'm going to definitely save this video. I know it isn't like ideal time, but hey, I'm like, at least I can get it up today. Because it was overdue. And the reason why it took me so long is because I put all of this lace in a box that my mama purchased for me, and I forgot where I put it. And I was not going to buy it again knowing that I had so much permanent dye. You all, how long do you think I can store it in a jar using if you I done had mine in a jar before for like over 7 months. And it'll last. I made some skincare products, and before I launch anything, I always testing and all that. It's called Jummer Seal or something like that I use. And I've had it over a year. It didn't grow any mold or anything. So if you're using preservatives, you definitely can use it for a long time. But you all remember, salt is a preservative. Hint, hint. Remember that. So you don't even have to go really buy anything. If you know you're going to be using it within the next 4 months, let's just say 3 months, the salt is a pretty decent preservative in it. But one thing about it, the more you use it, the diluted it becomes in color. Well, let me say this. The more I use it, the more dye I am taking out of the water. So it's not going to be as effective your first time using it versus your 20th time using it. So keep that in mind. So if you know you aren't dyeing up so the powders can be used to make lace tint spray, it can be, but I would not do it because it's a chemical. It's a chemical. You don't Number 2 will irritate. I mean, number 5 will irritate you. So I wouldn't recommend it. I know some people that use it to like darken up their spray. But I would be very careful with that. You know, we nice in our community with not suing people, so we should play around with the powder versus what it is. Exactly. Yes. Yes. And that's what I try to motivate in my teaching and stuff, because I can give you what I use, but like I say, it's not necessarily the right way. You know what I'm saying? It's many. Well, it's a right way. It's a good way. The formula works. It yields results. It's a good start, because some people are like, well, do I use a whole teaspoon or not? This is, use it as a baseline for you, and just venture out. If you have more of a red undertone, you want to use more of number 4 and number 3. Number 4 is a good like light brown type color. Yes, I have your powders. Is there a way to tint the lace on the system? Stop staining the hair. So what I used to do is I used to get like something like this and soak it and kind of like just press it on. The knots are going to tint with it. I mean, 613 here, the knots will tint. Oh, you know what? So let's see if we can see this. With 613 here, it's this honey blonde dye, you all, I saw someone use, and she wouldn't mind me sharing this with you all. But she used honey blonde dye to tint like 613 lace for someone that was super light. Well, she mixed, so she looked more like Caucasian than anything. But this is a small piece. Let me tell you. Sometimes the light just doesn't do good for us. But you can see the difference in transparent versus it just being, I done lost the lace. And again, I would have this staple. So you know what you could do too? You could do like a time type thing. So let's say, for example, if we had a long strip, right? I can say if I keep it in for this long, this was 2 minutes, and I'm going to bring it close up. This is 0 minutes, meaning you don't tie it or whatever. 5 minutes. It's different ways to get creative. So you see? So let's say if you just cut off a whole piece of frontal, you literally can create one chart and just know how many minutes you need to keep it in to get to different complexions. And so for example, so this is what I have. This is my hairline, the green line. I'm selling these you all for a frontal practice whenever I do the YouTube video showing you how to cut it for it to be glueless. But let me show you what I'm talking about. You have your brand of lace that you use. Some of us use 2 and 3 different vendors. But what I would do is I would have it. And you can create. Let me grab another one. And this is just ideas. I'm like done. Don't think you're going to miss anything as far as like anymore with the tinting. Right? So let's just say here. And I stapled it. You literally can say, what I would do is kind of think about it. So if I'm going to start here and I set my timer, 1 minute, right? After 1 minute, I go deeper. So now another minute. So hence the part that you had there first is going to be your 2 minutes now. That's 1 minute. So now if you go deeper into the water, you got 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 0 minutes. And since we didn't do it for the minutes, you're not going to be able to see it. But we smart. Does that make sense? And as you can see, I didn't keep this in long enough, but not only did I not keep it in long enough, the water is not hot enough. So that's another thing I wanted to point out to you all. Your water needs to be hot. That water has cooled down. It has cooled down. So I'm going to just put this here on the paper. And you wouldn't put it on wet because it's not going to give you a true understanding of like the color. Let me dry it off. And you know what, y'all? I'm going to show y'all just how not potent, but dark that is. You see how I just barely dipped it in and it colored it? So think about that too with time. The more dye you use, the quicker it's going to stain. And you see how long that's been sitting. However, Don't think because, oh, it's stained, it's good. The heat and the salt works together to penetrate in the fabric. Still make sure it's hot. Don't, if you use it cold and you shampoo it and you like the complexion that it gives you, I've done it before. That's good. Just know cold temp gives you that, so it's best to use powder dye, the lace, then to rinse it out so the chemical won't be on the skin because you use shampoo. Yes, and when I shampoo it, it's still there. But no, the red dye, let me tell you something. If y'all get y'all liquid dye and boil it, your lace tint spray, and just heat it up, bring it to a boil and dye your lace, it's going to give you a permanent effect or semi-permanent effect. Think about it. Your red dye, I used to tie-dye clothes. When you boil it and put it on the fabric, it's going to stain it. So you technically can just boil your formula and it'll penetrate in the lace. Heat penetrates into fabric. Salt helps it bind into the fabric. So that's more of what it is. So back to what I was saying. So I know, okay, 0 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. We get that. So I hope that's helpful with a little explanation of what it is that I'm doing. I've taught many people how to make the lace tint dye, giving out the formula with the written and all of that. So I felt as though because I was talking about it and teaching it 3 years ago and doing all of that, I felt as though it was important for me to do that truth about the lace tint and also with this, because I don't want people to think that I'm promoting you have a chemical and you just spraying it on the head. It's a non-toxic chemical, you are the red dye, but also with the Adore coloring and all of that, you won't keep a rinse on your head. So I'm just not for putting that directly on my forehead. Now, once you got a barrier like the stocking cap and all of that, I mean, look at it. We're not all around here breaking out and all of that, but I hate to have that one client where it just messes you up. I'm gonna tell you this right here. You see the bright warning sign. Use it with the warning. I definitely wouldn't try to take this to make a lace tint spray. If you're more interested in the lace tint spray, I prefer for you to stay. But honey brown dye. Oh, I'm glad you said that. You know I jump over. So I come right back to it. So I would prefer for you to stick with like more like the non-toxic formulas if you're just asking me. And as you all know, most of you all that follow me on Instagram, I come from a public health background, so everything I do, I mean, I could create a bunch of stuff to sell, but if it doesn't agree with my spirit and who I am and my knowledge and what I know, remember, ignorance is bliss sometimes. So what people don't know, it doesn't matter. I know people that I deal with on the business level that say, girl, I don't care, that's their problem. Big time people. That's their problem. I don't care about that. That's just not me. So let's go back to the honey blonde. Yes, it was a Weller honey blonde squeeze dye and rubbed it on the lace, and the lace was more like a transparent. This is like a peachy tone, you all, and it tinted it to like this peachy tone. So remember I showed you like how it looked on my hand, and when I tell y'all it was the perfect match for her. So let's just say if you have a let's just say a white client, and but her scalp had like a little flush, and I never knew about all the like the little popular shows and stuff like that because I really don't watch it. But it was for one of those. It was for one of those individuals that's very popular and was on like a TV drama show and stuff. So I've been around a lot. I'm around a lot of people in the industry and just doing different things. So I just come to you all to try to share and help you with that information. And I know this is not the best quality. I'm trying to look here and not here in the video, in the thing, because of the eye contact. But when I tried recording this video some months ago, it was an echo. I didn't like it, all of that. But the content is out here now. I hope it's helpful. If you all have any questions, feel free to let me know. And you know what? Because you all stayed this long on the video, use this code and you'll get the link for $4.99 instead of $9.99. I'm about to put it on my computer right now. I am going to put it as what's the easy link? SALT. So SALT is going to be the code. SALT, and it will give it to you for a discount for the time that it's going to be up on my website at JanelleAlicia.com. And you all know me. If you're having any problems and for some reason you can't get it before I take it down, shoot me an email at, is it JanelleAlicia@gmail.com, I believe it is. Or if you comment, I'm always get back to you. So You all have a blessed evening, and I hope this video was, this live rather, was very helpful for you all. Take care.